Honorable, can you hear me? We can hardly hear you. Maybe you want to unmute so that we can hear you, sir. Honorable Akala, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. It's good. Audio is better. Good to have you join
Can you
us.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you.
Hello.
If you can hear me, we can hear you, Honorable Akala. We can hear you. I don't know what the situation is. Uh,
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. So let's get into the conversation. Welcome to the conversation. And how did this, the judgments by the elections court or tribunal in Nasarawa State meet you as a member of the APC and the APC in Nasarawa State? We saw a situation where most members, senior member, it seems like they were disappointed. How did it come to you?
Well, thank you very much for uh, the opportunity to join you this morning in this very important conversation. Well, for us in the States, particularly those of us who belong to the party, uh, we are not too worried. Yes, everybody is worried. Members of the parties, of course, is a normal thing to be very worried of the developments that I know as Democrats who truly believe in the process. This is part of our electoral process to deepen democracy, and of course, in court. And of course, the court is at liberty to look at what is brought before it, and the court has done that. And in a split judgment, the majority of the judgment have it that the PDP secured the highest number of lawful votes. And of course, the party has since issued a statement in that regard uh, to appeal the decision of the prior tribunal. But of course, my conversation with you this morning, I will not be speaking on behalf of the party because I am not a member of the state executive committee of the party. I am a stakeholder, though I will quickly add that within the party contributed to the outcome of the election and the judgment we had on Monday. Speaking with you this morning, you may be aware that the outcome of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly leadership tussle, where some of us made our honest opinion known to the general public, the party did not welcome some of those honest positions and decided to say that, oh, because you may be aware, is on the news, that the party suspended me as at then for coming up to the public to air my honest opinion. As I speak with you, I don't know if I will refer to myself as a suspended member of the party or I will say I'm a member of the APC because the truth of the matter is that it was a mockery of a democratic process where somebody would sit somewhere and just announce that a member is suspended from the party without recourse to fair hearing. So I think those are the contributory factors that have led to where we are in Nasarawa State.
You know,
But by and large, we by and large, power belongs to the people in a democratic setup. The people must decide who lifts them. And for me, as a Democrat, I believe whatever is the outcome at the end of the day, because this process will go, I'm sure, will go up to the Supreme Court. So whatever is the outcome, I believe it will further deepen democracy, and the people will be the ones to benefit from all of this process.
now let's talk about that for a bit. You're somebody you served as a commissioner in Governor Solei's cabinet, and when the issues came up,
No, special advisor.
special
Sorry.
advisor, special advisor, and And when the issues with the state assembly came up, you were very vocal and said, look, as much as I support the Governor Sule's administration, I am not going to stand by and allow this happen. What was the reason you took that position, knowing fully well that it was going to hurt your, maybe political standings and political ambition some way in the states, looking at what is playing out? The state assembly, finally, we saw a situation where Daniel Ogazi stepped down and all. What's informed that position, and what did you do you feel satisfied that you took that position at the time that led to your suspension as a member of the party?
I think with every sense of humility and responsibility, I feel highly fulfilled with the position I took during the crisis. I did not take an abnormal position because at the end of the day, they all resorted to the position I canvassed ab initio. We have a three arms of government, and as Democrats and as people who have benefited and as product of the system, we must be seen to be protecting the system and allow it to flourish unhindered. The system has three arms of government. You have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The two arms are elected by the citizens, while the other is appointed, by the executive. Now, if members of the assembly are elected by their people, because the same members who elected this 24-member House of Assembly, the same citizens elected the governor. Now, the law provides that the members at inaugural session elect their speaker. Then held a election somewhere. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay. It seems like we'll have to reestablish this connection, and the conversation continues. And an interesting one has been, okay, seems like we have you back.
I think we seem to have some network issues.
Yes, there seems to be an issue with the network. But then, go ahead now. We can hear you.
So, in summary, you see, majority of the members went to the chambers on that fateful day and elect Honorable Ogazi to be the speaker. And then some, with the support of state security agencies, went to a different location within the state capital and elected another member to be the speaker, thereby causing confusion within the system. And some of us came out clearly to say, look, this is an aberration of the system. Look, you cannot in broad daylight undermine democratic system in that manner. And we said, look, the man who was elected within the chambers of the assembly in the eye of the law is the legitimate speaker of the assembly. Therefore, I called on the governor to please ensure that he takes a proper leadership role to ensure that that issue is brought to an end. In fact, I suggested at that point, almost immediately, that the governor should call the two factions to a round table. If it means for him to say, look, I appeal to you, I have made my interest known, but I would like you to please go back again into your chambers, because that is what the law provides, that go back to your chambers and elect your speaker. But most of these calls fell into, they see us as people who oppose the position of the governor, oppose the position of the party. So for me, it was the right position I took to defend democracy. This can happen to anybody. And for the fact that, okay, somebody wants to continue to perpetuate himself in getting government appointment, and as young persons, we must be seen to be upright in our dealings. So if you want to be a politician, you must be seen to defend the democratic institution, so that you will be able to benefit from this. So basically, I have no regrets with the position I've taken, and that was simply the position I took. And then the party from nowhere came out and announced for taking such a position, you know. And as at the time I was taking this position, I wasn't in the government. I was on my own as a private individual because the term has ended. I have served my term as special advisor to the governor on urban development. Neither the party nor the government invited me to any meeting to say, look, I will want us to rally around this member to be Speaker of the Assembly. As far as the National State project is concerned today, I am a critical stakeholder in the project. So, and I have the inalienable right to comment on issues that has to do with the state and the country at large. So I have no regret with the position I've taken, and I am fulfilled. At the end of the day, the crisis was resolved, and the governor had to call the two factions. You know, after almost a month, you know, he has to call the two factions, and then Ogazi decided that he will not pursue the ambition of the speaker again, and they had to go into the chambers and conduct a fresh election. Though the member that the governor wanted emerged eventually, but they had to go into the chambers and conduct the election instead of what they did somewhere within a ministry within the state. So that was the position I took, and I have no regret taking that position. Yeah. And that is why I was trying to, in a very lighter mood, to say, look, yes, I'm a member of the party, but I wouldn't know whether I will call myself a suspended member of the APC or a member of the APC, because the party has not deemed it necessary to go back to press and say, look, what we did was a joke, because it was a joke taken too far. And that accounted for the disunity we currently have within the party in the state. And that has rubbed into the ongoing election tribunal that has just been announced. But of course, we are hopeful that the party has announced that it is going to appeal the decision of the trial tribunal. So we await the Court of Appeal to also review what happened at the trial tribunal.
I would love to ask if this, has affected your relationship with the governor personally. But then, what do you say about, people who describe, governors as emperors in their states? You were a local government chairman. You also served at different levels in governance. What do you make of, people who say, look, the governors in the states just want things to go, whatever, we see in all those states, for instance, where a deputy governor is facing impeachment threats because on account of his, semi-soured relationship with the governor. And this happens. The state governors want to control the judiciary. They want to control the legislative arm of government. They want to control local government and all of that. What do you, from your experience, what would you share with us? Is this a bigger problem? Is it a problem to the Nigerian state, or it's just a problem within the political class?
I think, for me, to be honest, it's a problem with the Nigerian state and the political class. Problem with the Nigerian state because there are certain institutional amendments that should have been made long before now. For instance, if you look at the state houses of assembly, up to this moment as I speak with you, are not independent. As they are supposed to be. How can a state house of assembly go cap in hand begging for funds from the executive to run its activities? How do you expect that they will play their role as a watchdog on the executive? Today, the local government remains, with due respect, an appendage of the state. So this is a Nigerian problem, and of course, you know, the Nigerian political class, with due respect, are highly self-centered. And I will go further to really say that the governors are actually form a bigger part of the challenge that the country has continued to face. This is because they are in charge of the larger part of the economy of this country. You know, the president is only supervising the nation, but the larger part of the economy is administered by governors. And then when you look at the kind of resources that go down to the 36 states of the Federation, you will know that the challenge that the country currently faces basically may not have much to do with the president. It has so much to do with the governors. Nigerians are only talking about the president. Nigerians are not talking about the governors who could not account for the funds within their states. Therefore, for someone who has been part of this system over the years, you know, the governors actually wants to be in charge of everything within the state. The governors wants to operate as alpha and omega of their territories. Whether it is local government, whether it is judiciary, whether it is state houses of assembly, the governors wants to decide what those arms and tiers of government will do within their domain. The governor wants the speaker to come and meet him and tell him, look, governor, tomorrow we're going to have a sitting, we're going to do this, do this. The governor will tell him, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. This is what I want you to do. And amazingly, some of these houses of assembly have given themselves so cheaply to the governors. And the reason is not far-fetched. The reason is because the governor, because we operate a party system, a multi-party system, but you see, in most of those states, the parties that are usually in power, the governor basically runs the party because he funds the party. The party does not have an independent source of funding its activity. I don't know if you are with me.
Yes, we're with you. 100. We can hear you.
Okay. The party does not have any source of funding its activity. The party depends solely on the government to fund its activities. Therefore, it is the governors who fund their various political parties. So when it's election time, they decide who will get the ticket of the party. So including senators that you see at the National Assembly have to in most cases, most of them, including National Assembly House of Reps members, in most cases, they have to do what the Yorubas in their local parlance say, dobale, before they are governors, before they can get party ticket. Except for those of them who have strong connection with their constituencies, that if a governor decides that I am not going to give you a party ticket within the ruling party, the man can defect to any party and the people would keep standing by him. Those are very, very rare cases that you see everywhere. And that has accounted so much to the poor representation that we have continued to see, because the representatives believe that when election comes, as long as my relationship with the governor is intact, I am going to get the ticket of the ruling party, and the governor is going to do everything possible to see that I return to my seat. So those are the challenges that continue to ravage the state, and that is why, up to this moment, the local government system has not been freed up. The local government system has not been granted full autonomy. This is because the governors do not want that tier of government to be independent. They want the chairman to always come cap in hand to say, look, the allocation has come. What do you want us to do, Your Excellency? And in most cases, the governor will tell them, okay, please take 50% of the fund and share among yourselves. Make sure you go and pay salary. And that is why what you see most of the local government councils in Nigeria are doing are just there paying salaries. This is because the governor decides, in the event that the governor decides to conduct election into local government, it's like him dipping his hands in his pocket to remove tickets and share to who becomes the local government chairman. So, because the local government is not autonomous, there is what is called in the state independent electoral body, and that state independent electoral body is inaugurated by the state governor. So, in most cases, you see that it is the ruling party members that will be the officials of the electoral body. So what do you expect from an electoral body that is composed of a political party, a particular political party members? All they need to do is to do the bidding of their principal, which is the governor and their party. And that is why, if governors decide to conduct election in their various states, you will see that it is the party in power that will sweep almost everything, 100%. The councillors will be that of the party, the chairman, just like what you saw in Edo State recently, that you know that if elections are going to be conducted realistically, there is no way one political party will sweep all the positions, the councillors seats and the chairmanship seats. So these are the challenges that continue to be deviled in state. So with due respect, the governors are at the center of this. They want to be within their states. They want everyone to come and bow before the governor. And of course, in weaker states, I can tell you, governors are gods.
I'd love to take you to another dimension, the politics in Nasarawa State. In the last elections, in the last general elections, people said, oh, Nasarawa State is voting and, practically towing the lines of religion and ethnicity in the elections. We'll be talking about that shortly. And also, we'll talk about what's going on at the national level as pertains to the palliatives and money is distributed to states to see that the state people and the citizens are well taken care of. Stay with us. The conversation continues.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Lotto don't come. Come chop better prices every day with only 100 naira. I know they want you. Every day, people get chance to win. Bone straight hair, iPhones, Samsung phone, iPad, laptops, TV, and many orishi them for 100 naira in Kechi where you day. Yet Sunday, where that's your 100 naira change. Oga Yanga don't come. Yanga Lotto don't land with just 100 naira. If it be you, play Yanga Lotto today. Yanga Lotto, do Yanga.
Oga Yanga madam, make we do the Yanga. Like say we chop maka, brother, waiting with the matter. Won't you make it Yanga? Yanga Lotto, Yanga Lotto, which come chop.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 15,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Thank you for staying with us on your radio experience. You can count on. We've been talking about the politics of Nasarawa State. We're seeing the court the Election Petitions Court, sacking the Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State and going on to pronounce that the winner of that election in Nasarawa State, was Honorable David Umbugadu. The Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has said they will be going on appeal. They would be appealing the judgment of the Elections Petitions Court. What's going to play out? We hope to find out. But then the question is, would both parties accept the outcome of the Court of Appeals, or would it even go up higher to the Supreme Court? Recall that at some point the Governor Abdullahi Sule had said he was going to serve just one term in the state as governor, but it turns out he seems to have reneged on that promise or that statement, saying that now he went ahead to contest the 2023 general elections, and as it turns out, the courts are saying he's not the rightful winner of that election, going by the lawful votes cast in that state. We're going to bring you into the conversation shortly. We're going to bring you in. Just stay with us. The numbers to call are 09073530044 and 090. Find a way to fix this. Again, the numbers to call 09073530044 and 09087668888. While we try to reconnect with my guest, keep your calls coming, 09073530044. You can send a message to 09097054450. That is 09097054450. All right, seems like I have my guest back. Honorable Gajeri, let's talk about, what I mentioned earlier, the politics of ethnicity and religion, which many people have attributed to, what the results or what played out in your state in the last general elections. What do you make of that? Is Nasarawa State towing the line of religious and ethnic politics? And what would be the outcome if that's actually what Nasarawa State is doing?
Well, I think I'm so sad that this... can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The Nasarawa State project. This is a very, very sad narrative. And for me, that this is taking the front burner of our conversation is so unfortunate. Nasarawa State is a heterogeneous state in terms of its ethnic diversity and religious diversity. And we have lived in that manner. We have coexisted peacefully since the state was created, carved out of Plateau State. And of course, in most families that you see in Nasarawa State, you will find out that there are Muslims and Christians within one family. And we had existed without any issue. We had had elections severally without some of the session coming up. But unfortunately, in the last election, a few individuals queue up the religious card just to divide the people for their selfish interests. And unfortunately, and sadly so, that played out in the last election. For those Nigerians who have followed the narrative in Nasarawa State, you will see that close to the election, a few disgruntled individuals came up with a lot of short videos talking religion. In fact, threatening some parts of the state not to be part of the governance of the state. But I think that the people were able to weather that storm. People were able to and I can confirm to you that the last election in the state took the dimension of religion, which is a very dangerous path. But of course, at the end of the day, people realize that the religious card was just meant to serve the interest of a few. And then people defied it and look at the Nasarawa project as a whole and casted their vote in that manner. And for us, I think the last election was a true reflection of what the people wanted. And unfortunately, the election ended the way it did. But for the APC going into the election, it's not something anybody will want to hide. We had a primary election that threw the party into disunity. You had serving National Assembly members defecting and leaving the party to other political parties because they could not secure party tickets, So I'd actually be surprised if the opposition leverage on the division within the APC and gain more mileage than us. But I think the religious issue is beginning. A lot of the citizens within the state understood what is coming, and I think they were already weathering that storm, and the state is coming back united.
All right, so while the conversation continues, we're going to be talking more with my guests, but let's bring you in. Those of you who live in Nasarawa State, those of you who join the conversation from Nasarawa, let's get your thoughts in now. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. The situation in Nasarawa State is similar to what's playing out in most other states in the country, especially when we talk about governors and, their high-handedness and also, how they run the affairs of the states. It's not different anywhere. Governors have been described as emperors over time. Joining, let's get your thoughts. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning. Lost connection. Try to call back 090-7353-0044. Now, Honorable Akala, let's talk about the palliatives. We're seeing the situation, the economic situation of the states. The federal government has disbursed 5 billion to states, or allocated 5 billion to states. The states are saying they're going to open, create a new register for the indigenous people in their states and all of that. This is something that should have been coordinated at the local levels, at the local government level. Do you trust that the state governments or the state governors will be able to allow the local government to run this and also, create that register, a clean register for the federal government to use in the disbursement of palliatives? Before you respond, I'll bring in these callers. Hello, good morning.
Hello, my prince. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
well done,
Kundu. Good to have you.
My name is Kundu. I'm calling from Nasarawa State. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yes, my prince, you see, it's very interesting. I always talk about this time that judgment favors they will praise the judiciary. I listened to the person who contested under the platform of the PDP, the last election, in governorship election in Nasarawa State, and he praised the judiciary. And I was telling my friend that I hope that if peradventure he goes to the Supreme Court, the APC appeal to the Supreme Court, and he ended up not in his favor, he will also praise the judiciary. It will not just stop now. But one thing I want to say here is that, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, my prince.
We can hear you.
One key thing I want to say here is that the People Democratic Party, they were able to take their evidence to the court. They were able to take the result sheet of polling unit by polling unit to prove that this is where they won. But it was upturned. It was not given to them what they actually got. And the judges, in their wisdom, look at it and say, yes, truly, what they said, is true. So that is what, I was expecting for other political parties to do at the presidential, election.
Okay.
Take your evidence to the court, because even if the judges not everything. They would see the line, on the evidence. So, I was expecting other political parties to say, okay, I want a canon. This was what, was given to me. I want a Nasarawa. This one was given to me by index. They did not do that. So they were able to do, here in Nasarawa State, and the judges say, yes, we agree. So we are hoping that if they go to the Supreme Court, we'll also see if it will be overturned.
All right.
To continue.
Thank you very much, Hundu Tekimbe. Let's bring in another caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, what's happening now? Hello.
Good morning, Hannah. So once again.
Good morning, Chidi in the BC. Good to have you.
Yeah. Hannah, so that is clear. Very, very clear. But one thing I always emphasize is our constitution. Our governors are not doing here, actually. They are everything in the state and the executive. Even they decide who is going to be the president of the nation. This is not right. So now our constitution gives them, politicians and our institutions, right or the opportunity to this. Hello?
I can hear you, Chidi in the BC. Go ahead, please.
So I think our constitution gives our institutions and government and the governors the impetus to do whatever they decide to do. If our constitution is right, if there is no loophole in our constitution, and I repeat, there is no way the military government will give us a constitution that will guide civilians. It doesn't happen anywhere. If we have the National Assembly at the same time, it's one of our problems. Let them revisit our constitution. All these institutions, the governors that monopolize the powers in their state, this local government financial autonomy, judiciary financial autonomy, INEC, being fully independent. If we get these three things right in this country, if our constitution works in this country, it will get better. All these court cases will not arise. But when the constitution is not working, okay, you are emphasizing on somebody at the United States. If you have disciplines or supreme, people respect their laws. People are proud of their country. But in Nigeria, it's a different thing. What causes constitution?
All right.
And our laws. And our constitution supersedes our laws. So if our constitution are right, our laws will be also right.
Well said. Thank you very much. Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You are talking about senior citizens. Is it for pensioners or for elderly ones?
What's that?
Yesterday I had somebody asked you about senior citizens registration or something about that.
Oh yes. The NLC making a case for pensioners to also be included in the the wage awards and all of that. But that's a conversation that hasn't really taken off per se. But the pensioners are trying to do something for themselves. They're trying to create awareness also to see that they're included in whatever it is that government is doing at this time.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. So, Honorable Akala, Chidin Dubisi just made a point of, strengthening our institutions. If we had stronger institutions, the Constitution is respected and, is supreme. A situation where the judiciary is also strong enough to stand on its own. we wouldn't have all of these situations. You alluded to that earlier in your statement. So I'll just put this finally that as we're closing down. I'm really sorry I can't take any more calls. With the issue of palliatives being distributed, this is supposed to be handled at the local government level. These are people who are closest to the indigent people in the communities. They know the people one-on-one. Shouldn't this be something that's left to the local governments to handle, seeing as how the federal government has said states should, coordinate and ensure that there's a new register for the less privileged in society?
I think I'm afraid this palliative narrative may not get to the right people. I'm afraid because you see the way and manner the governors mostly conduct their activities within their various states leaves so many delays to desire, because what you see in most cases is that the governor will ask his appointees to coordinate the distribution of those palliatives. And in most cases, they share to their friends, cronies, and families. And these palliatives are meant for every citizen of the state. Hardly you see any state that will invite other political parties, maybe, for instance, leadership of other political parties, religious leaders, and other traditional rulers to be part of the process. You will see that the party in power will take full charge of the distribution, and in most cases they will use their political party structures to do this distribution. This is so sad, and that is why you will see that, for instance, in Nasarawa State, after the first phase of the distribution of the palliatives, the House of Assembly raised motions of public importance, raising alarms that there are complaints from every local government that the appointees of the government who were in charge of the distribution have diverted the palliatives. And the House of Assembly has to set up a committee to investigate the way and manner those palliatives were distributed. Now, you're talking about another resources that will go down in the name of committee investigation, where the committee may have to travel to all the local government councils in the name of investigating how these palliatives were distributed at a time where the government needs more resources to reach out to the less privileged. So for me, I have no confidence with the distribution of palliatives that is ongoing across the country. I believe that the governors may not get it right. There are just few governors that can decide to allow their conscience to work in ensuring that the less privileged are actually the beneficiary of this palliative. For instance, why would you see certain bags of rice and other things be taken to a traditional ruler, for instance? What is the traditional ruler a less privileged within? He is a privileged citizen of the community because he is made a traditional ruler. And then you see somebody who is in government payroll is being given bags of rice. What of, for instance, in my state, it is not every family that has a member of the family in government. There are lots of families. I can tell you, for instance, in Nasarawa State, is about 2 or 2.something% who are privileged to be either civil servant or public servant. Therefore, it means that 95% of the citizens are not in any government payroll. Therefore, these people who have the privilege to be in government payroll are now taking advantage of this palliative distribution to serve themselves. So for me, it has been a very, very sad narrative across the country. I don't believe that these governors can do the right thing. But of course, I'm aware that the federal government is revalidating the register of
the social register.
These beneficiaries. We hope that if that is finally achieved, if politics is not put into it, because in most cases they go to various states, they fall in the hands of the governor will direct on how things will be done. Then in most cases, politicians are asked to submit names, and they submit names of their friends and cronies. So it's unfortunate that we will continue to navigate in this direction, and then people who have the privilege to administer their various territories do not want to do that sincerely and in the best interest of their people. And that is why we continue to have lingering challenges of insecurity and other very tough teaching problems that are confronting our nation. Is because the people have lost confidence in their leaders. People have lost confidence in their elected representatives. The elected representatives who have the privilege to be elected have refused to allow the system to work for the people. They gag the system by all means. So I think these are just part of the challenges that continue to bedevil the nation. And every time you hear Nigerians are mentioning Mr. President, I think the problem is not Mr. President.
This is a good place to leave the conversation. The president is not the problem. The problem is not Mr. President. Honorable Samuel Akala Gajeri, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you. And this is where we leave it. To everyone who's been a part of it. Okay, I'll leave this. Take this message from Just Morning Hanacho Prince. When court sacks APC, we say the judiciary is working, but when the court sacks PDP, we'll say the court is destroying Nigeria. On Nasarawa election, it was clear that the election didn't go well, but I pray the judiciary should do the needful and sack those that didn't come the right way, including the presidential election if found wanting. I can assure you that 90% of the election conducted across Nigeria was rigged. There were malpractices, but our election umpire compromised the whole thing.